Here's the first story we got from the Wall Street Journal. NATO formally blames sabotage for Nord Stream pipeline damage. Military alliance says it would be prepared to defend its infrastructure from attacks in a ratcheting up of tensions between Russia and the West. It's a little bit worse than that. They said, NATO said the series of leaks in the Nord Stream pipelines between Russia and Europe were the result of sabotage and that attacks on its members' infrastructure would be met with a collective response from the military alliance. So let's just say, I'm assuming they're not talking about Nord Stream, but they might be because Germany relies on it. But it's a weird thing because I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to say. Okay, are they blaming Russia for it directly? No, but several member states are. If they are, it's very weird that they're like, our adversary's infrastructure was blown up and we'll retaliate if someone blows up our infrastructure. It's like, it sounds like you blew it up and now you're worried they're going to blow up yours. So, I don't know, World War III or what do you think?
It's not a good geopolitical situation for everyone involved here. Everyone's going to lose. Everyone's going to suffer. The people of Europe are going to go without energy. Russia is, of course, already dealing with a lot of consequences because of the war. The U.S. Embassy just announced that any American in Russia should leave immediately. Putin is also set to annex large parts of Ukraine, which is going to set the groundwork for a possible nuclear attack on territory that now he claims is his. And again, it's a messy situation. It's a very complex situation. We should be calling for de-escalation. And sadly, all we're seeing on the corporate media is escalation, putting more fuel on the fire, which is dangerous for everyone and stupid, in my opinion.
It looks like Vladimir Putin may go with the Zap Brannigan strategy. Are you guys familiar with this?
No, what is it? Explain it, please.
It's where he sends wave after wave of his own men just into the onslaught until it completely overwhelms. Now, that's a joke, right? But that's actually the traditional Russian strategy.
It is, so historically.
Right, so during World War II, so this is amazing. I've got a Soviet, what is it called? I think it's called the P-64. I could be wrong. I don't know if you know this. It's Polish. And it was from the Cold War. It is it's a 9mm Makarov. It's a handgun. And it's ergonomical only for your right hand, which is okay, I guess.
It's not inclusive.
And nobody ever wants to use it at the range. You know why? It bites into your hand. It hurts. Ugh. And so it's fun to have these Soviet bullets, these Makarov bullets. But the thing is, when they were making guns, they were like, they don't care if it hurts. They don't care if it's made of crap. They're just going to make a ton of them and crank them out and give them to everybody and say, go for it. So I think the story was in World War II. They mass produced a whole bunch of garbage tanks. And then Germany was like, we're going to make really good tanks that were really hard to make. And then Russia just stormed through with all of them blowing up. And they're like, more is better. So yeah, it looks like, as much as I can joke about Futurama, with the conscription of 300,000 men and the reporting that he could even bring it up to 1 million, seems like the annexing of the territory strategy is going to be, okay, how many Ukrainians are there? Screw it. Just send 300,000 guys there and we'll win.
Yep. Well, that's all it takes. Overwhelming force. That's always been Russia's main way of doing things. And they have very little care for human life in general. Well, and that's what we've seen from Putin over and over and over again.
That's what we've seen from almost every government.
That is true. That is true. But especially the Russians, especially the Soviets. When Stalin was just, mass murdering people, mass taking people, starvation. He didn't care about the people. He didn't care about the people on the ground. It's what his overall goal was, because
it's true, but I just don't think that's unique.
That's true.
Barack Obama blew up a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
It's not the same as, a Holodomor or anything like that.
Yeah.
So there's certainly people who are substantially worse. That I understand. But I just think, governments, this is what they do.
World War I was pure attrition. There was just trench warfare against machine guns.
But I think
But also in World War I, they used to cut underground cables and mess with each other's infrastructure. So we have to understand that this was an act of war. What are going to be the larger ramifications of it, or something that is dangerous for everyone? Escalations. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. No, I just think the higher you get up in the escalon of things, high atop the thing, the less you care about the people below you, because you don't see them, you don't deal with them, you don't see what they're doing on the ground, you don't see their families, you don't see that they can't pay their bills, that they can't get groceries, they can't get gas. I mean, it's all to varying levels of degrees. But as you get higher up in power, that's how people tend to look at it.